everyone. Here we stand at the dawn of 2026, a year filled with promise, a year filled with possibility. If there is one truth I know deep in my heart, this rebuilding is one of the hardest, yet most profoundly human things we will ever do. To rebuild does not just mean fixing what is broken, gathering the courage to stand up and declare, I will not be defined by what happened. I will be defined by what I do next. Let us begin with a truth we all need to hear. You cannot rebuild yourself if you are running from your story. Each of us has a story. It is a mosaic of moments, some joyful, some painful, some triumphant, and some we wish we could erase. But here is the thing, pretending those difficult chapters do not exist does not make them disappear. Instead, gives them more power. When we avoid our story, it starts to control us. It becomes the silent narrator in the background, shaping our actions, our beliefs, our sense of self without our consent. Owning your story means standing face to face with it and saying, this is mine. It means acknowledging the messy parts, heartbreaks, the failures, even the moments you are not proud of. But it is also about recognizing the strength it took to survive those moments. Owning your story is not about dwelling on the past. It is about claiming it as part of your journey and refusing to let it define your future. Let me ask you something. Parts of your story are you hiding from? Maybe it is the failure you are ashamed of, the rejection that stung so deeply, or the mistakes that feel too big to forgive. Promise you this, your healing begins the moment you stop running. Avoidance keeps you stuck in a cycle of shame. But when you name your story, bring it into the light, shame loses its grip on you. And here is an important reminder. Owning your story does not mean you need to share it with everyone, does not mean standing on a stage and broadcasting your wounds to the world. Owning your story is an intimate, personal act. It is about being honest with yourself first. It's about telling yourself the truth. Yes, this happened. Yes, it hurt. And yes, I am more than this pain. Begins when you stop seeing your story as something to be hidden and start seeing it as a source of strength. Think about it. Every scar, every tear, each one taught you something: resilience, empathy, the capacity to keep going even when it felt impossible. Those lessons are your foundation, building blocks for what comes next. So how do you start owning your story? Begin with compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Criticizing yourself for what went wrong, ask, what did I learn? How did this shape me? Get curious. Journaling, therapy, or simply sitting in stillness. Help uncover the parts of your story you have buried. And once you bring them into the light, practice rewriting the narrative. You are not a victim of your story, are the author. Owning your story is not easy, it takes courage, but it is the first step toward freedom. Because when you own your story, regain control of your life, you become the one who decides where you go next. And most importantly, you begin to see yourself not as broken, but as whole, with every scar, every lesson, every moment that makes you uniquely you. Own your story before it owns you, because no matter what that story holds, it is yours, and owning it is the ultimate act of self-respect. Now let's talk about perfectionism, because if there is one thing that can paralyze us in the process of rebuilding, this idea that everything must be perfect. Society has conditioned us to believe that perfection is the goal. The shiny, polished version of ourselves we think we must achieve to be worthy. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Perfectionism is a trap, and it will hold you hostage if you let it. Perfectionism is not about wanting to do your best. It is not about striving for excellence or aiming high. Perfectionism is a subtle, insidious lie. It tells you that if you are not flawless, you are unworthy. It convinces you that if you make a mistake, or if things are not exactly how you envisioned them, somehow lesser, it is a voice that whispers, you are not good enough. Not yet. Not until it is perfect. But let's take a moment to challenge that idea. Perfectionism keeps you from living your truth, because it locks you into a state of not yet. It is the enemy of progress. It paralyzes you with fear and doubt. Doing so, it prevents you from taking the very first step toward rebuilding. It creates a barrier between who you are now and who you could become. Think about it. How many times have you put something off because it was not perfect enough? How many projects, dreams, or ideas have you abandoned because you were too afraid of falling short? Is this. The pursuit of perfection leaves no room for growth. It demands that you stay static, that you stay within the lines, that you never, ever make a mistake. It's the paradox. Perfection does not exist. There is no perfect way to live. No perfect way to rebuild, no perfect way to be. And the sooner you embrace this, sooner you will free yourself. To rebuild yourself, you have to first break free from the illusion that you have to have everything figured out before you take action. Perfectionism is rooted in fear, the fear of being judged, the fear of not measuring up. But failure, my friend, is not the enemy. Failure is a teacher, judgment from others. That is their story, not yours. You cannot control how others see you, but you can control how you see yourself. Imagine for a moment that you gave yourself permission to be imperfect. Imagine that you could show up, flaws and all, without the weight of needing to be flawless. What would that feel like? What if you started with what you have right now? Without waiting, without delaying, without demanding perfection. What you have, even if it does not look like what you expected. This is the beauty of imperfection. Imperfection creates space. Space for creativity, space for experimentation, space for learning. If you wait for everything to be just right, you will miss the opportunity to grow. Perfect time to start rebuilding. The perfect moment does not exist. The only moment you have is now. But here is the good news. You do not have to do this alone. Start by setting realistic goals. Break down your vision into small, achievable steps. Do not focus on how perfect each step is. Focus on movement. Focus on progress. Progress, not perfection. It is okay if things are not flawless. What matters is that you keep moving forward. When you let go of the need for perfection, allow yourself to be fully human. You accept your imperfections as part of the journey. You give yourself the grace to make mistakes, beginning to understand that growth is messy, that it does not always look neat or tidy, but it is still beautiful in its own way. So how do you begin to break free from the trap of perfectionism? You begin by reframing your thoughts. Catch yourself when that critical voice creeps in and tells you that you are not good enough. And challenge that voice with kindness. Remind yourself that mistakes are part of the process. They are not a reflection of your worth. Celebrate your small wins. Acknowledge the progress you have made, if it is not perfect. And here is another powerful truth. Progress often happens when you least expect it. It happens in moments of vulnerability, where you step outside your comfort zone. That is where transformation begins. Perfectionism keeps you confined. Imperfection sets you free. Rebuilding yourself in 2026, you do not need to be perfect. You need to be real. Embrace your humanity. Embrace the mess, the flaws, the uncertainty, because that is where growth lies. Let go of perfection, and you will find a sense of freedom and possibility you never thought possible. Remember this, enough just as you are, and you will rebuild, not in spite of your imperfections, but because of them is a powerful truth that can change everything about how you rebuild yourself. You cannot do it alone. In fact, you were never meant to. Our lives are shaped by the relationships we cultivate, and those relationships have the power to either propel us forward or quietly hold us back. People you surround yourself with play a vital role in your rebuilding journey, because they either affirm your worth or distort your view of yourself. So let's talk about the importance of surrounding yourself with people who truly see you. Not the polished version, not the curated version, but the real you that is raw, authentic, and vulnerable. The version that is allowed to be messy, imperfect, and still worthy. The people who do not just know your story. They hold space for your growth. They sit with you in your struggle. They believe in your dreams when you are unsure of them yourself. For far too long, many of us have been surrounded by people who only see the surface. They see the achievements, the accolades, highlight real moments. But those people are not the ones who help you rebuild. They are not the ones who help you rise when you fall. Easy to be surrounded by people who admire your success, or who love the version of you that performs well. They are not the ones who will hold you in your darkest moments. They are not the ones who will walk with you when things fall apart. True connection is found in depth, not in performance, not in appearances, but in honesty. When you are rebuilding, you need people who can look past the cracks and still see your potential. You need people who can look at you, despite your mistakes, your flaws, and your shortcomings, and still see your strength. They are the people who say, "I see your struggle, and I still believe in you." These are the people who hold a mirror up to you, not just to reflect who you are, but to reflect who you are becoming, not let you stay stuck in the story of who you were. They remind you of your progress, even when it feels small, you for it to encourage yourself, and they hold you accountable, not with judgment, but with love. So how do you find these people? Begins with authenticity. It begins with allowing yourself to be seen, because vulnerability is the bridge between superficial connection and deep, transformative relationship. When you share your fears, your doubts, your dreams, your challenges, you open the door for others to step closer, invite them to meet you where you really are. And here is the key. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create a space where others feel safe to do the same. Building is not just about vulnerability, it is also about intention. You have the power to choose who you let into your life. So ask yourself, who truly sees me, judges my growth? Who celebrates my progress, and who challenges me to be better? Are the people around you helping you move forward, or are they pulling you back into old patterns of thinking? Sometimes rebuilding means letting go of relationships that no longer serve the person you are becoming. Not about anger. It is not about resentment. It is about honesty. Some relationships have run their course, and holding on to them out of loyalty or fear will only slow your growth. You cannot rebuild with people who refuse to see the real you. Cannot heal in environments that keep reopening old wounds. Instead, choose to invest in relationships that uplift you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to become the best version of yourself. People who, when you are tempted to play small, remind you of your greatness. People who are not afraid of the hard conversations, but who stay with you through them. And here is the beauty of this. When you surround yourself with people who truly see you, you begin to see yourself more clearly too. Their belief in you strengthens your belief in yourself. Their encouragement helps you rebuild your confidence. It helps you rebuild your vision. And ultimately, it helps you rebuild your life. But remember, this is not only about receiving support. It is also about becoming that support for others. You are not only meant to be seen, you are meant to see others. Offer your presence, your honesty, your belief. You create a circle of mutual growth. As you hold space for others, you are held too. Is not a solitary act. It is a community effort. So I encourage you to look around and ask yourself honestly, who is walking beside me? Who is lifting me up, helping me become the person I am meant to be? And if you do not have those people yet, begin by being that person for someone else. The more you lead with authenticity, the more you lead with openness, the more you will attract people who truly see you. And when you are seen, truly seen, begin to rebuild yourself with strength, with courage, and with a sense of belonging that no perfection could ever give you. To rebuilding yourself is not a smooth one. It is filled with moments of uncertainty, doubt, and pain. And yet, there is a truth many people try to avoid. Comfort is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, leaning into discomfort rather than running from it. Most transformative decisions you can make as you rebuild your life. Comfort is familiar, but growth does not live there. Discomfort is a signal, a sign that you are stretching beyond your limits. Most of us have been conditioned to seek comfort, to avoid pain, to choose ease whenever possible. That comfort is the goal. That if something feels uncomfortable, it must be wrong. But the truth is this: every meaningful change is born from discomfort. Lean into discomfort. You engage in the very process that transforms you. Imagine trying to build strength without resistance. Imagine trying to grow without challenge. If you never experience difficulty, you never discover your capacity. If you are never stretched, learn how resilient you are. Discomfort challenges the limits of who you think you are. It breaks old beliefs. It burns away what no longer serves you, like fire. And in that fire, your character is revealed. Our culture tells us that life should be easy, that happiness should be effortless, success should arrive without struggle. But every story of transformation is built on challenge. The greatest growth comes not from ease, but from adversity. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. They were not the moments when everything felt safe. They were the moments that asked more of you. Moments when you were pushed. Moments when you doubted yourself. Moments when you had to choose courage over comfort. Those moments shaped you. Comfort you feel while rebuilding is not a warning sign. It is confirmation. It is proof that you are moving forward. Discomfort is the doorway to something new, something stronger, something truer. So what does it mean to lean into discomfort? It means having the hard conversations you have been avoiding. It means making the difficult decisions that align with your values. It means stepping outside your comfort zone even when fear is present, allowing yourself to feel uncertainty without needing immediate answers. It means staying present instead of escaping. It means saying, I will stay. I will learn. I will grow. Leaning into discomfort also means confronting your limiting beliefs. The stories you tell yourself about what you can and cannot do. Voices that say you are not ready, not strong enough, not capable. Discomfort dismantles those lies. Every time you face something uncomfortable, prove yourself wrong. You prove that you are stronger than you thought, more capable than you imagined. It is important to understand this. Into discomfort does not mean seeking pain for the sake of pain. It does not mean making life harder than it needs to be, choosing growth when discomfort appears, because discomfort will appear. That part is inevitable. The choice is how you respond. Do you run, or do you stay, or do you feel? Do you resist, or do you allow yourself to be shaped? Leaning into discomfort means not rushing to escape, allowing a lesson to unfold. When you avoid discomfort, you delay growth. When you face it, you transform. Growth is not linear. It is messy. It is uneven. Discomfort teaches you how to trust yourself, how to rely on your inner strength, how to move forward even when certainty is absent. Discomfort will always be part of transformation, especially when you are rebuilding. The question is not whether discomfort will come. The question is whether you will let it refine you, whether you will let it expand you, whether you will allow it to shape the next version of you. Lean in, because on the other side of discomfort is growth. And on the other side of growth is the life you are rebuilding toward. Creating a vision for life is one of the most powerful tools you have in the rebuilding process. A clear and compelling vision acts as a compass, gives you direction when the world feels overwhelming. It gives you focus when doubt creeps in. A vision gives meaning to your effort, reminds you why you are doing the hard work. But there is an equally important truth you must hold alongside your vision. You must remain open to the journey. Vision is not just a list of goals. It is not a rigid plan. It is a picture of who you want to become. It is the life you are growing toward. Vision is your North Star. It guides your decisions. It shapes how you use your energy. It helps you move forward even when progress feels slow. Without a vision, it is easy to feel stuck, easy to be pulled in directions that do not serve you. But here is the key. Your vision must be flexible. It must be alive, does not unfold in straight lines. The rebuilding journey is rarely linear. There will be detours, unexpected turns, moments that do not look like progress. That does not mean you are failing. Often, those detours are where the deepest growth happens. It is easy to become attached to a specific outcome, that if you follow the plan exactly, life will reward you exactly as imagined. But life has its own rhythm. Sometimes it leads you somewhere better than what you originally envisioned. Staying open to the journey means trusting that what unfolds is part of your becoming, releasing the need for certainty. It means allowing yourself to evolve. As you rebuild yourself, your desires may change. Your priorities may shift. What felt essential 6 months ago may no longer fit the person you are becoming. That is not failure. That is growth. Open to the journey means giving yourself permission to update your vision, to refine it, to realign it. You are allowed to change, are allowed to outgrow old dreams. You are allowed to choose differently as you learn more about yourself. A vision is not meant to trap you. It is meant to guide you. Stay flexible, you become resilient. You stop fearing the unknown. You begin to trust yourself to navigate whatever comes next. Rebuilding is not about control. It is about alignment. Alignment with who you are becoming. Alignment with your values. Alignment with your truth. As you move forward, remember this. You are not rebuilding to return to who you once were. You are rebuilding to become who you were always meant to be. Every step you have taken, every part you have released, every lesson you have learned, it all matters. In 2026, rebuilding yourself is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about courage. It is about choosing yourself again and again, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when progress is slow, when doubt appears. Trust the process. Trust your growth. Trust the version of you that is emerging. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. That is powerful. So as you step into 2026, step forward with intention. Carry compassion for who you have been. Carry courage for who you are becoming. Carry faith in the journey unfolding beneath your feet. Rebuild yourself with honesty, with patience, with strength, and with the deep knowing that everything you need is already within you.